We desperately need a Christian renewal of the spirituality of Viriditas, as Hildegard von Bingen put it. We need a green man spirituality within Christianity, because you don't need to be, a disciple of Greta Thunberg to think that tons and tons of raw sewage being poured into the chalk streams of England. England has 70% of the world's chalk streams, and to desecrate those, and to the brown trout, the rainbow trout are rapidly disappearing. Our songbird population is rapidly disappearing. To cover the landscape in herbicides and pesticides and fungicides, and then think that we can just cover that up by importing Ukrainian or Romanian topsoil. To treat the landscape in this way is to essentially privilege greed, because we are, as Goethe says, torturing nature to get what we want from her, and so it's a form of greed, but it's also, well, let me put it like this. Okay, in order for the fall to take place, as we know, Adam and Eve, in the biblical account, morally represented the created order. So in their disobedience, they sowed disobedience into the entire created order, and they placed it under the legal dominion of Satan. For that to be reversed, the eternal word had to enter history and assume the created order into himself, right? And he did that exclusively from Our Lady. Okay? Which means that Our Lady does not stand before the Creator as a moral representative of the created order in the way that Eve did, right? Because Eve could not embody the whole created order so as to give it to the eternal Logos. She was not that. Okay, that's the unique role of Our Lady in history, and our Lord placed her to one side as something sacred, sanctified before the event of the crucifixion, precisely for that purpose. Which means that, in a very, very qualified sense, the Christian mystery does not have one incarnation; it has two. Because the Christian mystery has the incarnation of God in Jesus Christ, but it has the incarnation of the creation in Our Lady, right? Because all of the created order, the entire universe in which he wants to effect his redemption, is assumed into the eternal word uniquely, singularly, and exclusively from her. So she is the Magna Mater. She is the Great Mother. She's Materia Prima. She is the way that even the word itself. We use the word for the cosmos, matter, right? Matter has exactly the same etymology as mater, mother. It is, the universe is the mother. I'm currently reading Romanian folk tales to my children in the evening, and many of them have their own creation story in them. And the universe, the cosmos, is always referred to as the queen consort, right? The universe has been brought into being by the Father so that he can have this spousal relationship with him. And eventually it ends up crying out to him in this nuptial mystery through the liturgy, which uses the entire created order. The whole universe becomes a cathedral in which 1,000 liturgies are taking place at all times through the created order. And this comes to its perfection in its union with supernature in the liturgical tradition of the church, which is why we used to build cathedrals that look like that. They literally look like they're erupting out of the ground and reaching up to the Father in this kind of spousal longing. And so Mary is the incarnation of the cosmos, right? And so every time we fail in stewardship, we desecrate her. Every single time we tarmac the whole world, and we fell the ancient woodlands, and we cover the fields in toxins, and we do this, we violate the Blessed Mother, right? And so you don't need to be a kind of World Economic Forum Greta Thunberg enthusiast in order to start developing. And this is actually part of the problem, that because Christians have completely vacated the entire intellectual space concerning stewardship and our responsibility towards the created order, these green environmentalist movements offer extremely poor solutions and ideologically driven solutions to real problems, and people go in for those solutions because we haven't offered anything in their place, right? And this is why we need to develop a kind of Hildegardian spirituality of Viriditas, a green Christianity, a green spirituality, and that would, I think, be a major step to transcending the whole kind of left-right egregore. Because one of the great attractions of particularly the progressive left is that they posture as saviors of the created order when actually they're anything but.